Good morning, everybody. Mike, you need to play that. Good morning.
Not my turn yet.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to computers.
Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Mike, you're ruining the whole show. I'm leaving. I can't.
No, he's making it.
I can't.
You're on unpaid leave.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. You want me to start again, huh?
I got it.
I'll play it. Don't worry about it. I got it. I got it.
All right.
I'm Amnon, your host for the next 3 hours, along with Mike.
Oh, good Sunday morning.
And Spence is here.
Good morning.
And Nick is here.
Oh, good Sunday morning.
See, I
and
was ready.
Steve is here with us.
I don't know if I got audio or not, but hello.
You do. Beautiful.
Need a little bit hot. Need to crank it down a little bit.
Steve,
Okay,
it
I'll
looks
move
like,
back a bit.
Steve, it looks like you got a nice sheen to your coat there. That's very nice.
Yeah, I had a bath last night. My birthday, say. No, it wasn't.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is being brought to you by Adamance.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals.
Like me.
So,
What's going on?
oh, really? Nothing. I had a question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
I had a short conversation with Tom Sinclair yesterday about the clarity of his show.
Clarity, you talking about quality-wise?
Quality-wise, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, he's doing 1500, but he's still doing 854 by 480. He's still doing.
So Amnon, explain to the viewers. So
SD.
he's doing 1500 or 1.5 megabits a second for
megabits
live
a second.
stream.
Yeah,
And what's his resolution?
854 by 480,
Okay.
or the way that VidBlaster calls it, 864 by 480. I don't know why. But
Okay.
the one
All right.
thing he was telling me, and I'm trying it now to see, he said the only thing I have that is a 720 is my canvas size in Wirecast. I said,
So for everybody that still is not following along, 'cause we have these kind of conversations outside of this. So Amnon and other broadcasters that are using VidBlaster, most of the time, they're using VidBlaster to switch the video, and then they're using Wirecast or FMLE or some other type of software to do the actual streaming.
very good.
We gotta make sure that people are.
So
see what I'm talking about.
I don't know that it makes a difference. So I was going to ask you if you have any idea, what does the canvas size do?
I mean, it's the size of the frame in Wirecast.
Well, I mean, it looks the same. I mean, now I'm running 720p in the canvas size, not in anything else.
Well, actually, the computer's doing more work because now you're downscaling the video to stream.
But it will look exactly the same. It will not do.
It'll look exactly the same, but you will
Okay.
you will stress out your computer more because so you're taking 854 by what?
480.
If you're taking 854 by 480, a little box like this,
Right.
you're blowing it up like this,
And
and
then-
then you're encoding it and shrinking it back down.
Yeah.
So your computer's got to do the upscale and then the downscale again.
Yeah.
So and in my opinion, I would not do that.
Yeah,
because
I
you're
figured
making
I'll
more
just use
space.
it, but then I can't switch it now, so I'll switch it after the show. It's okay.
Oh no, no, of course, there's no reason
It's
to switch
still
it now,
running
but
at
it's really-
75 and 70, so it's
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, I don't see any difference. That's what I'm saying. Let me
But
start
do
the
you
H.
see-
Take over. Let me
do you
start the
understand-
HLS.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
all right.
Play nice.
No. So how was everybody's week? Any good technology stories we can talk about?
I ran across an issue with inkjet printers that it's worth sharing.
All right.
I recently, I got a Kodak C310 a couple years ago, just because I would never have a printer that was ready to go to print pictures on demand by families. So I said, okay, it's got time to have a dedicated printer that I'm not doing other things with. And it worked quite well for a while. And then, of course, I had long periods of not using it. And it seemed to be fine. And then when I was gone for 6 months and didn't turn it on for 6 months, it came back. Black doesn't work anymore, no matter how many times I clean the head or calibrate the print head, nothing. So changed the print head, which thank goodness wasn't all that expensive or even hard to do. It's made to be replaced, and get some new knockoff brand inkjet ink cartridges. Right in the ink cartridge installation notes, I see this little reminder. It says, "Don't forget to turn your printer on and off at least once a week." And I'm like, really? And I'm thinking about it. I says, that makes perfect sense, because in most cases, when you turn a printer on and off, it goes through a clean cycle, and that will stop the print head from drying out, which is exactly what happened. So I thought about, well, how, if you're going to have an extended period of time where the printer's not going to operate, what's the best thing to do? And Amnon and I were discussing it to say, put it on a timer. In this case, the C310, when you power it up and plug it in, it will go through a startup cycle. And that's the thing to do, put it on a timer, so that once a week it goes ahead and keeps those wicks wet.
Well, but what you could do is move to carry, because the power goes off so frequently around.
Just don't put it on a UPS. It's simple as that.
That's actually part of their printer preservation strategy.
Yes, I mean, they're doing a service.
If you look in your bill, you will see that they have printer preservation, printer ink preservation
Is it
fee.
an added service?
Yeah, it's added service. That's right.
Hey, what are you going to do? You got to pay. You get the best.
But it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't think about it. So I told Spence, I mean, I'm going to take a timer and turn it off about 3 in the morning and turn it back on. One of them
That's why
simple light bulb.
My last brother inkjet croaked. Same thing. It was so hard. You could replace the print head, but it was such a big freaking deal. It was not something the homeowner could do, or even I probably could have done it, but I just didn't want to try it. And this printer actually has a print head. You press a button, snap, it pops out. You put the new one in. It's 30 seconds. So to their credit, they actually engineered it into the product.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I have. I see Serena's comment there about. I have several laser printers, which are my day-to-day printers. I don't print in color unless I need to. And that's probably part of the problem too. But my day-to-day printing is always laser.
all right.
So I have Mike and I were chatting on about something before the show kicked off. That tell me when this is a good time to bring it up. But
Sounds good.
Yeah,
now's good. Well, my daughter's getting married in a month, and we really didn't pay much attention to what we were going to do about video. And I had my backup plan is just to set 2 fixed cameras. The church will allow us to set up 2 cameras on tripods. But I was intrigued with the idea of going with a GoPro, a couple of GoPros, and looked at samples of videos of weddings that were done with GoPros, and it was actually very well done. But my question is, on how to record. What's the best way to record an audio source? And now you mentioned digital recording. My first question was, what's the best microphone to use adjacent to the wedding party to pick up the audio? But now maybe the right thing to do would be to put a small digital recording device on the groom, for example, and just have a separate audio that you can use linear editing later as a separate audio source. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Has anybody any experience with recording events with the GoPro?
Well, there are multiple questions here. I have just recently unpacked and figured out how to use my GoPro, and it's
Which one did you get?
Hero 3 Plus. That sound right?
Yeah. Hero 3 Black, yeah, probably something like that, right?
Huh?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm looking at it, going through it, trying to figure it out, and I did some testing with it, but I haven't not shot video with it yet. I don't even know how to download. Can I download without having to take the SD card out? I'm assuming you can.
It should have wireless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus there's USB.
Well, I had a question about that, but I'll come back to that. But the one thing that people are very critical of, and I agree with, is this fisheye on the lens. And we talked about that here before. I saw how you put it on narrow view to get rid of some of that fisheye effect. It seems to be better. I'm just not sure how it's going to work out yet. It remains to be seen.
So the Mike, and I don't want this to come off unkindly.
No, go ahead. You're not going to offend me.
But this is the problem with the GoPro is the GoPro was not meant for recording mundane things like a wedding or a video of you setting up a mixer. The GoPro is meant to record motion and sports and stuff like that, and it's kind of transitioned itself into a cheap device that people can throw on a tripod or throw on a little helmet camera or even a strap that goes across your chest. So that fisheye thing, as much as people don't want to, as much as people don't like it, the purpose of the device is that fisheye. You want to capture as much as possible if you're snowboarding or if you're skiing or if you're surfing or whatever else. So.
But why not use it for other stuff? I mean, what makes
exactly? And it's not that you shouldn't, but the purpose of the device is not to. It is not meant. It's not a camcorder. It was meant to do that kind of stuff.
Let me show you a little clip of video that I found last night, which makes me think that the whole fisheye thing is irrelevant because this guy shot a wedding with 6 GoPros. Mm-hmm. And let me show you the video. Let me just do a quick capture of that. It is remarkable.
Before you do, keep in mind a couple of things. The first is that you can minimize the fisheye pretty significantly by going into the narrow mode.
Right.
They say that the reason that there is a fisheye is because the lens is so darn wide.
Right. So can't you change lenses?
No,
it's a compact
fixed
camera.
Okay.
Although there is a company that for $350 will put a lens on it that doesn't have fisheye.
And there's other alternatives that aren't GoPros who do not have the fisheye. I know JVC makes one that's actually pretty good. They're like extreme cameras or something like that don't have the fisheye. There are definitely alternatives.
But one of the more interesting alternatives is that there is software out there that will take the fisheye effect out.
Plus, even if Mike, you said you get that narrow mode, you could even do a little bit of cropping in your editing software,
right?
And cut down on too. If you just crop, a little bit off of all the corners and top and bottom.
Spence,
the examples that I saw last night, some were just an individual who decided to record their friend's wedding with a GoPro and just used, like they place it on the ground when the people were walking up and down the aisle, or they'd have it on a stick in the air during the reception, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just show this for a moment to show you the video that this guy produced. Now, how do I get I have too many screens open. I closed my Hangout screen.
We see your video.
I've got you. Go ahead.
All right. Now the zooming, of course, is a handheld camera, but he used GoPros throughout the entire
So
I think he's
did he have
switching to, but I don't know if this is just an example of what he was doing. But
did
but
he
the video is
have,
actually very well done,
did he
very
have
good, sharp.
Spence? Did he have people that were walking around just for that purpose, or he said,
No, they were fixed. These are all fixed cameras.
"Oh, oh yeah, that's right."
He
did
did
say
have someone walking around with. Now that one had fisheye. You could see
That's
that.
the shot. That one on the left definitely has the fisheye. It's very noticeable.
Let me go back a little bit. I'll stop it right there. You can where you start to see it when they got in close. That one.
Yeah.
That definitely has fisheye. Although it's not, I wouldn't say it was pronounced.
No, but if definitely noticeable as fisheye.
You can see
I
everything's
mean,
kind of curved.
we're geeks. We look at this stuff. I mean, regular people aren't gonna. I don't think regular
Right.
people are gonna look at that and say, "Oh, that's that's fisheye." Like I don't even. I'm not even sure people watching the video would know what fisheye is.
But the other one that I saw that was well done was just someone was asked to go to this person's. Oh, by the way, if you bring your GoPro with you and do a candid view of the wedding for me here, and this is what she came up with. Kill the sound here. And she just shows her trip to the wedding, and let me get rid of.
she's just giving everybody. She's just getting everybody. What do you call it? Spins your head.
Motion sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, some of it is a little jerky, but there was another one I saw that was like they used the time lapse feature.
See the fisheye in that? See how
Yeah.
the ground is going uphill?
Yep.
But then again, it's not really that noticeable because you're not focusing on it.
Well, the point being that there is hardly any other way you would be able to get that shot. This is this little tiny cube sitting on the ground inconspicuously as people are walking down the aisle. How else are you going to get that shot?
You're not. You're gonna have to have a huge camcorder on the ground.
That's GoPro's strength right there. But here's the point. Having been through 2 weddings and getting ready to go through a 3rd one myself, I can tell you that what you should have is a stable system to grab the video. You should have a camera focused on the preacher and the bride and the groom. You should be able to get the shot from the back of them walking down the aisle with zoom, the whole 9 yards. And if you had 25 GoPro cameras around the church, you would appreciate every second of video recorded on every one of those cameras.
Might
You
as
can
well
never get
hire
too
a videographer with a big crew at that point.
Well, the GoPro stuff you can do yourself.
Yeah, but each one costs money.
You borrow them.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I'm going to probably buy one myself and then see if I can't borrow a couple. And then if I can still if these are small enough and inconspicuous enough, I can get away with putting more up than the 2.
When's your wedding?
November 14th.
Okay, I've got one November 8th if you want to practice. I've got a video camera that you can use, a GF30, HF-G30 Canon, which is a 1080 extraordinarily good camera, and I've also got the GoPro.
Cool.
Both of them.
All right, when you put the memory card in the GoPro and you leave it there, let's say on the stage, how long can you expect? How long of a video can you expect it to record?
I think you have to look at the settings and there probably is some type of a chart you can look at to say if you're capturing at this frame rate and this resolution.
I understand, but if you want to get good quality picture, how long can you expect? I mean, half an hour, 2 hours? I mean,
continuous video is going to be a lot shorter. I know people that do the time lapse, like every 6 or 8 seconds they'll take a picture. And I had someone put one on the front of a coach when I was doing a tour for the day.
Uh-huh.
And they left it up there for the whole day, and they took a picture every 8 seconds.
Yeah,
and
but
it
that's not
lasted
a
through the entire day.
but that's not a video at that point.
Oh, I realize that. Yeah. I would have to look at what the specs are, and then you could calculate. Now you can get SD cards now. I was just looking in today's specials. You can get them 128 meg.
Right,
But
but
I don't recall, but it's at least a couple of hours on the one I have now. I don't
okay,
remember what I have now.
that's what I'm looking for. So you can get a couple hours of good quality, not the greatest maybe, but good quality video. Is
It's
that
going
what
to be
you're saying?
better than my DV camera, which is 1 hour tape.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I can't believe how ancient that technology is now.
Yep, I of course have a lot of my kids' tapes and things on VHS and High 8, and very carefully last week I hooked up my High 8 camcorder to see if it would even play, and it seems that it's working. So at some point between now and the end of the year, I've got to make copies of all of my tapes. I wish there was some way to do a digital to digital transfer.
I've been doing a capture from my Sony Digital 8, just using the FireWire capture.
Mike, you
I've
can
been
do it
trying
with
to archive my
Wirecast.
tapes that way.
You have a High 8?
I have a Digital 8.
That's not High 8?
I think it's the same. High 8 is just the, without going digital, it's the highest you can go analog.
Oh.
It's what was used. It was the standard for broadcast television remotes for many, many years until they went digital.
Mike, you can do it with Wirecast.
Do what with Wirecast?
Convert it.
How?
Just hook the High 8 to, but you need a capture card. Well, no. Oh, yeah, you do.
I don't think there's a digital output on the High 8 camcorder.
It's not a digital camera, in a way.
Yes, it is.
Well, yeah, it is. That's right.
Is it FireWire out?
I don't think so.
You need to take a look. Even if it's a component or composite.
I bought a couple of old camcorders from a thrift shop that look serviceable. I still haven't really played around with them much, just to have an alternate way of capturing the video. Even if they don't record anything, I don't care as long as they play. I was worried about that Sony. But you know what, Mike, my Canon DV camera actually has a conversion built in. It has a composite in that will let you go through the camera out to FireWire. It's tedious and takes time, but it was another option.
This doesn't have that.
It doesn't have any connection to a PC? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it's a Canon. It's a Canon ES3000.
Interesting.
I see no digital output on it at all.
Because I think the ones that I was using in the early days were High 8 before the DV. And I was hooking it to a capture card.
Well, you can hook it to an analog capture card.
Well,
But that's going from digital to analog to digital. It would be better if I could do a digital to digital transfer. And what that means is that if anyone ever had a camera, a High 8 camera that actually did a digital transfer instead of doing, now I say it's digital. I assumed it was. If that may not be correct, but maybe it's just maybe it's linear encoding or what are the helical scan.
My Sony camera will play regular 8mm tapes. It's dual. It'll work. It'll play both an analog and a digital tape. And that was why it was so good at the time, because my old camcorder was just a straight 8, and I could still play those old tapes.
and then it allows you to get out with
Digital. I'd be able to take the FireWire connection directly into the PC if I have capture software and just capture it that way. But it was real time. You had to just play it. You couldn't do it.
Right, but you're saying that will or will not do a digital transfer of high 8.
It will. I don't know that my camera supports high 8. That's the question. I don't know. I have to look at what the spec is.
I bought a Panasonic AG1980 commercial cassette VHS cassette deck a couple of years ago. Never used it. Friend needed some things dubbed. I started dubbing them. After the 5th tape, the thing crapped out on me. So now I'm screwed on that. I tried emailing the guy and asking him what he thought. He said, well, for $350 we can rebuild it. And I said, well, I'm not worried about rebuilding. You just rebuilt it. The question is it something simple here or a trash can? Well, if we can, for $350, we can rebuild this. That's the service that we said, no, you're not getting it. Finally, I just quit emailing him. And about a day later, he called me. He said, oh, I think I just now understood your email. Tell me again what's wrong with the camera, with the VHS. And I was busy. I said, I don't have time to talk to you right now. I'll call you back. But it turns out that Gary is a certified VHS technician, so he's going to look at it. If it's something simple, I just wasted a bunch of money. But
is it just not spinning, or
the only thing I can describe is it looks like the tracking is way off, or maybe the tape is skewed. But you can adjust the tracking and see that it's centered on tracking. There's just something wrong with the way it's picking up the signal. It will bring in a clear picture if you turn on the time-based corrector, but you should not have to turn on the time-based corrector to get a good signal.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about the noise. I bought a couple of old camcorders at a thrift shop, and this one is a high 8, but it says digital signal processor. Let me see if it has an output. It has S-video out. No, that doesn't help.
The love of S-video.
You know, at the time, S-video was pretty good.
Well, I'm actually doing some stuff with S-video this week. Hopefully, we're doing the pep rally at school, and S-video will run a whole lot longer than RCA will without amplifiers. So we're doing some S-video stuff, and we're gonna see what happens.
I did notice that there were a couple of traditional camcorders direct to digital that were on sale. One was like $189 direct to memory.
I thought you were looking at the specs. Never mind. That's
Oh
fine.
no, I'm saying
Right.
that there's alternatives out there that are a lot cheaper than GoPro.
All right, for our North Carolina, actually for others too, in a public letter to both Time Warner and Comcast, the FCC said they are putting on a hold on the merger deal between the two companies, citing inadequate responses by both cable companies to earlier FCC requests for additional information. The agency is stopping the clock on its 180-day review period until late October. Comcast and Time Warner together control most of the internet services in the country. However, the companies said that they are in different regions and are not going to suppress the competition. Right. But it's interesting that
Half of that is right.
the what?
Half of that is
Yeah.
right. Time Warner and Comcast really don't compete right now.
Oh, well. They've probably been planning for a long time to do this, so that's
Oh,
why
I'm
they're
not. I'm
competing.
not. But that whole statement is not false because they really aren't in the. They really aren't in the same markets. I'm sure in some places they are, but not on the.
So we'll
not
wait.
on the-
We'll wait and see.
Now, why at the beginning? Why'd you say just your North Carolina viewers?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about that's when I corrected myself.
Okay.
Said no for others too, because it's I realize. I mean, it affects us directly, but There are other states that it affects, absolutely.
So Sam, now you're not going to talk about your Uverse.
Yeah, I am going to talk about it. Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's hear it.
So last week,
Big
had
shot
a guy walk to the house. Two guys. I went outside to see what's going on, and they had an AT&T thing on them hanging, the ID tag, and he said, "Do you know about our specials that are going on in your neighborhood?" I said, "No, what is it?" He said, "We have Uverse." So right away I said, "Oh, what speed?" He says, "Well, you can get 45 down and 5 up."
Whoa.
I said, "Okay, and how much is that?" He said, "Well, do you have TV?" And, they tried to sell you a whole bundle. We were busy, so I said, "I tell you what, give me a call next week on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll talk. We'll come by." So he came by. And to make a long story short, TV and phone, not TV, sorry, internet and phone is going to cost $65 or $67 a month.
For that speed?
Yeah, 45 down and 5 up, and the home phone. Now, the home phone that we have right now is with AT&T. It's a landline. It costs about 40-ish. It's like $38, $39. So I couldn't refuse that. The thing is that in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, AT&T is going to be rolling out in Raleigh what they call Gigapower. It's 300 up, 300 down. And those that have Uverse are going to get it for no additional cost. I've got it. I've got it.
That's going to run on Twisted Pair?
No. They're running it on fiber. They're running fiber.
It's got to be fiber. Yeah. It could never run on Twisted Pair.
And they are. I've got it on paper. Mike said, "I'm going to make sure you get it on paper." So I got it on paper there. It's just something that I couldn't turn down. Now, the one bad thing about it is, the downside is, it's capped at 250 gigabytes, which is not too shabby, but for what I do here, it's not enough. But I figured I'm not going to do away with Time Warners, and I'm going to divide between streaming and the work and the house, so I can do the streaming on Time Warner, which does not have a cap for now. And maybe when the time comes with the 300, I can do the live streaming at higher bitrate and then go back to, I don't know. It's going to have to take some planning. But I just couldn't refuse it, because it's costing $20-some a month for the internet do
they offer an unlimited with no cap for a different price?
No, there is no such thing.
I don't want to go down that path.
I asked what happens when you go over, and he said something like 10 gig or 50 gig for $10, something like that. I don't know, but I don't think I'll ever go over. Not when you have another source and you can divide it.
Up in Fairbanks, it's kind of backwards. The cable company was the one that offered fast service, but they were capped. And it was significant once you went over the cap. And then it was the local phone company that offered unlimited on DSL.
Spence, when you have 300 up and down, how fast can you eat 250 gigabytes?
How fast can you what?
Can you get to the cap?
You can get to it pretty quick, depending on what you're doing.
No, let's say you use it full. full throttle? Roughly.
It really depends on the content.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
you really can't use 300 megabits at a time. I mean, that's pretty freaking hard to do.
Right,
No
but I mean-
services are going to let you do anything at 350 megabits.
Well, we'll see what happens. When it came time to sign the paper and to get them to install it, he was online with the rep at the office, and I heard her saying, "So he's going to get the 6 down and 1 up, right?" I said, "Whoa, wait a second. What are you talking about?" She said, "That's all he's got. That's all we can do in this neighborhood." And he said, "No, I already sold somebody across the street 45 and 5." And he said, "I know they can do 45 and 5." I said, I'm not signing anything that's less than that." So we ended up saying and clearing it that they're going to send a senior technician to come out. And if the senior technician can say that I can get 45 and 5, then it'll go into effect. But if we can't, I just tell him, don't do anything, and I don't owe him a penny.
So they don't. So this guy tried selling you something, and they don't even. They potentially don't even offer it in your neighborhood.
That's not true. The problem with AT&T, and that's always been a problem, you can call once and they tell you something, and you can call 2 hours later and you get a whole different story. He
That's
knows
I
what
went
he's.
through when I tried to sign up for it. I had people telling me, "Oh, absolutely, we have service in your neighborhood.
Yep.
Give me an installation date." And then talk to the technician. He goes, "No, sorry, your particular twisted pair going to your home is inadequate."
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to have any problem with a twisted pair that goes into the house, because there are 3 18 pair cables or 25 pair cables going from the box to the house because, whoops, oh, shoosh. You know what? I forgot. I'm using. Isn't that interesting? Wait a sec. Isn't that interesting,
You'll
guys?
be back.
What
I
browser are you
forgot.
using,
I'm
Amnon?
using Chrome. I forgot I did it.
You're muted.
He's back.
I'm using Chrome. I forgot I started Chrome automatically, and sure enough, there it goes. Maybe I should start Firefox, right?
Do whatever you'd like. It's on my show.
I'm going to. Yeah, hold on, everybody. We're just going to do it real quick on, or maybe we'll take
your
a
time.
break while we're talking. Let's not break my train of thought anyway, and I'll do it afterwards. It won't take but a second to. No, will
I
it?
installed Chrome
Just
online this
do it,
morning
Amnon.
to come in.
You're spending more
Just do
time
it.
talking about doing it than it would take to do it.
Okay,
Just switch it over.
so capture this. Let's see if I can start Firefox at the same time. Nah, it's probably gonna eat.
Now, just copy the link. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Better than
disconnect.
crashing.
I'm gonna close down Chrome.
Alrighty.
Here we go.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, and now that was bad.
Something megabytes free.
Unfortunately, Amnon has some weird issues with Chrome on that computer. We really don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, we don't know.
It seems to be okay on this one at the moment. I just need
Yeah,
to
I
free up
use
some space.
I use it on Chrome every Sunday. So does Mike, and I think Spence does too.
I use Chrome. Amnon,
Yeah.
you get your Chrome replated.
Yeah, and you're muted.
That's okay. I'm not talking. Let's capture
okay.
it again. Yeah, keep going, guys.
I noticed when I use Chrome for the Hangout, I use less cycles on the CPU.
Well, it's a Google product, so
Yeah. So it just runs better.
optimized for their browser, which is what you should expect.
What a nice difference. I upgraded my machine to the Core 2 Quad from the triple core AMD, and now I'm not 99% on CPU anymore.
Okay. It's fine now. We're in Firefox.
All right, and we're back.
And believe it or not, CPU is less. 71,
Whoa.
68. Interesting. Oh, I'm on a split. Never mind. So yeah, the problem is that they don't know. AT&T in many cases does not know what you
How?
have.
How?
Yeah,
How
I have
can they
no
schedule an
idea.
appointment at your house?
I mean, look, he told the lady at the office, he said, check on this and that address. And she said, well, yeah, that's got 45 and 5. He said, they're not even 100 feet apart. I mean, I can look, I see the box across the street from me, the Uverse box.
okay.
And when he saw it there, he said, oh, you can get probably the top speed. So
Well, keep in mind that even though you have those 3 bundles of cables running,
Yeah.
you still might not be. It may still have to run another wire.
well, I don't know. I'm just thinking that if one pair is bad, they have other pairs that they can use.
Well, here's the problem when you go into a multi-pair bundle. They're not the way Cat 6 is separated for
Yeah. It's
crosstalk and frequency jumping and all that. The cable is physically constructed to avoid that.
right.
Anything over 4 pair is not built that way. It's
Well-
really designed for voice.
There. I think at this point, though, we're only using one of the cables.
Well, they
because-
might just be able to go through and find a pair that works good.
They can use the other ones. We'll see. I mean, it's the nice thing. It's only 1 year contract.
Is there any performance clause in there?
No, not that I know of. No. And I mean, it's still, remember, this is still as long as it's been here, it's a new thing. The other thing, the other thing that I threw in there and turned out, yeah, it can happen. When he was here that Friday night, I asked him about static IP. He said, a what?
Oh God.
I said, static IP. So he said, I'm going to have to call. I don't know what you're talking about. So he called. He called and he asked he got somebody answer and he said, can I talk to the supervisor? And he asked and they said, yeah. It's $15 extra a month and he gets 8 IPs. I said, make sure, tell him that this is residential. And he told him, he said, yep, we can do it. I said, $15, it's fine. Because I need to have IPs that don't change for some of the things that
Do you
communicate.
have Time Warner doesn't have static IPs.
The what?
Time Warner doesn't do static IP.
Yeah, but Time Warner, it changes about once a year or twice a year.
Not even. I would
Yeah.
look before you pay for it and see how often. You could
No.
always
So
add it on after
so
the fact.
I'm reinforcing my point about AT&T does not know what happens. That was the first time that he came in. When he came in, I mean, the first time that I met him on the driveway. When he came in and we were talking, I said, now make sure about the static IP. So he asked her. He said, okay, he wants to make sure that he still can get a static IP. And all this is on speaker with her. The static IP for the $15. I said, I was going to say, don't say anything about price. So she came back and she said, static IPs don't cost any money.
Well,
And I said, make sure, ask her again. And he said, are you sure he's not going to pay and he's getting 8 of them? She said, yep, he can get 8 of them. There's no charge for it.
And you got that in paper?
Yeah. So you see, that's what I'm talking about, AT&T. You talk to one, they say one thing. You talk to another, they say another thing. It's just amazing how they work. And
I keep calling down until you're not paying anything for it. Keep
what?
calling different people. I said, I just keep calling different people until you don't even have to pay for it.
And see if you can get it down to $10 a month. Yeah.
But you got to remember that with AT&T, it's always the lowest common denominator, not the best, the worst. So
we'll see. I mean, I'll keep you posted about how it's going, but it's really interesting the way that they work. I mean, if they went to one person first, if they don't charge for static IP, and I said that I want static IPs. Oh, no. I mean, if they say they do charge and you say, yeah, okay, and they write it up, when it gets to the computer, there's one computer that does all this. It can't be yes or no. It has to be the certain way. What if it's not? They tell you it's going to be $80 a month. Now it's 65. I don't understand how they send these people out to the field and have them talk to people that are not absolutely knowing what's going on and know exactly what the story is. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, think about it, Amnon. It's a business model that's been around for years. So you take a person who can read a screen and type in a question, and all the information is somewhere else. They don't need to know the information. They just need to know how to ask the question.
No.
And they will check. They're at the mercy of, can I do this? And they say, hold on a second, and they'll type it in and say, yes, you can. But they
help desk.
No idea.
But
idea.
I would think, but you see that again. But you would think that they are typing and getting the information from the same database. You would like to think so. I mean, even the way that he asked her the question was not the way that I would ask it. I wouldn't ask, so can I still get 8 IPs on that residential? He asked, can he still get the IP for $15 a month? And she said, it doesn't cost. So it's not like there was a question on her end. It was, no, it doesn't cost. The one thing that I didn't like, but you have to do, there is an installation fee of $199, but they give you $100 gift card. I said, you know what? I don't want the gift card. Charge me just $99 for installation. I mean, this is for the modem and for that, and I can understand this. And she said, no, we can't do that. The gift card, the Visa card is going to come to you, so you can pay it. And I said, that's going to be a deal breaker. It didn't help. I said, I can't do that.
Of course they can't do that. They've got to deal with...
I understand, but, you try. You try. Yeah. But anyway, that's my story with
Uverse money.
So far. They're supposed to come Tuesday.
Now, I have a feeling they're going to come and figure out that they can't do that.
Well, if they can't, they can't. It's no big deal. I mean, I was asking him, I said, so why are you going to let us have 300 by 300 for no added cost? He said, because there are other providers that are coming here that will do it, so we have to compete.
Well, it's good for them, unlike Time Warner, who could give the slightest crap about upgrading their speeds or their service.
Oh, I had a comment before about the possible merger between Comcast and Time Warner. Why shouldn't everybody be degraded down to the worst level service? It's only fair. Why not?
Yep.
That sounds like a government plan to me.
Good Sunday morning. No, well, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yep, we'll see. So,
don't
give up, Nick.
Where did you see the 300 by 300 plan? Was this like a website that showed you
No,
where
no,
they were
no.
rolling that?
That's what he was telling me, and that's what's written on the paper there, that it's called Gigapower. Look for, if you searching, look for
That's what I'm gonna
AT&T Gigapower, and see if there's
Power
such a thing.
Cities. Here we go. Yeah, what is UVerse with AT&T Gigapower? Here we go.
Okay.
Yep. Confirmed. Cary, Chapel Hill, Carborough, Durham, Raleigh, and then possible Apex, Garner, and Morrisville.
And what speed?
It just says Gigapower.
Gigapower. Yeah.
So where is it? It's available now in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin.
Yeah.
which
Well,
makes
where
sense.
they have
Yeah, Metro is being explored.
Google.
You know what's really interesting? No cable providers fiber providers have even like they always show a map of what areas are being explored. Not a single one of them has been in the Northeast anywhere, which I find really interesting.
It's a wasteland.
Well, I mean, I don't know why anybody would come to New York. They're just going to get screwed with taxes.
Well, I was going to say it's not a friendly environment. Plus,
The only
right of way issues can be daunting.
The problem is with New York, they're trying to push this whole tech boom with the nano fab plant and everything in Albany, and there's just Time Warner is the option.
It'll come. It'll come. I mean,
Nah,
people.
nah.
Somebody will
I doubt
realize. Someone will realize that there is a market there that is unhappy, and we can gain a bunch of customers, and they'll do it.
I hope so.
It may not happen tomorrow, but
It may not happen in the next 15 years.
I don't know about that.
I'll be out of New York State by the time it happens,
Where are you going?
and as far away as possible. I'm coming to live with you, Mike.
Yep,
Okay.
he's coming down
I'm
to North
moving in.
Carolina.
All right, make sure you can afford the rent before you start saying stuff like that publicly.
I'll do a GoFundMe.
He'll just get a few credit cards and come down here.
Oh yeah, Mike, can I pay? You have a credit card reader? I'll just pay with that.
Nope, don't have one.
Oh yeah, I'll have to get you one.
Have to do PayPal, Square.
Oh yeah, sign up for Square with their 10% interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
or their 10% processing fee, or whatever it is.
Now we have a bunch of.
What does Amazon charge for their new device?
An iPhone.
What do you mean their new device?
Well, they have one. What did I see this today? It was an ad today about for $9.99 you can buy what looks like the Amazon equivalent to Square.
Oh, you're talking about credit card thing, Swiper?
Yeah, they've got. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. I don't.
It's called Amazon Local.
2.5%, which is actually not too bad.
Square card charges 10%.
Something like that. It's
Oh,
high.
I didn't think it was that high.
It's not 10. It's maybe like 6 or 7, but it's high.
Yeah, but you see it everywhere now.
My boss has one, and he does weddings, so he's doing very large processing or very large charges. So for him, 7 or 8% can be
Hefty.
$200 on a wedding charge. He's like, screw that.
So he just marks it up. That's all.
Well, no, he just uses something else that's got he's at like a 1.65 with somebody else, so
Yeah.
goes with that.
Hey, Amnon, can I go ahead and do the specials because I'm getting close to the time where I need to take off?
Of course you can.
When would be is this a good time?
Better than nothing. What time are you leaving?
Oh well, within the next half hour or so, I
Okay.
guess.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, we have a shower here, wedding shower here today, and I'm getting close to where I need to start doing stuff. So, all right. So starting with Best Buy, and I am so happy to say that I had all these ads in my paper today. I did not have to go online. I reinstated the getting the newspaper on Sundays, so I'm very happy. Okay, Best Buy SanDisk 32 gig Ultra Plus SDHC or micro SD cards. These are 40 megabit per second cards. This is $29, save $40. That's a great price. They also have the 32 gig Extreme SDHC micro card, which is an 80 megabits per second card for $39.99. The first one was $40 off. The second one was $58 off the regular price. Lenovo S8-20 or S8-50, that's the brand or the model number of an 8-inch Android tablet. It's got 1920 by 1200 resolution, 16 gig of memory for $199. Acer 14-inch i3 touchscreen laptop for $379.99. They've got a 20-inch HP LED monitor for $89, save $30. A 23-inch HP IPS LED monitor for $149.99, save $80. Seagate 1 terabyte USB 3.0 drive, $69.99, save $10. They have the Brother MFC J475DW. This is an inkjet printer with wireless and two-sided duplex printing, automatic, $59.99, save $40. Use once and throw away. Brother HLL2360DW. This is the wireless laser printer with duplex for $99.99, save $50. And they have the SanDisk 32 gig USB flash drive for $12.99. 32 gig for $12.99. Save $37. That's all at Best Buy. At Staples, they have a Toshiba 15.6-inch i3 Windows 7 laptop. Windows 7 for $429, save $170. They have a Dell Core i3 15.6-inch touchscreen laptop for $429.99, save $120. Chromecast is on sale for $28, $7 off the regular price. Toshiba 1 terabyte portable hard drive for $49.99, save $25. 2 terabyte for $89.99, save $30. I use one. I picked one up for my work machine a couple years ago, and I'm still using. I just cleaned it last night and started reusing it for the machine I'm working on now. They use NTI backup software. And I have to say, it works quite well. It's USB 3.0, and I haven't had any problems with it. I've been using it for years. Of course, now, as soon as I turn off today, it's going to break. But whatever. Logitech MK320 keyboard and mouse, $19.99, save $20. Lexar USB flash drive, 16 gig for $12.99, 32 gig for $19.99. 64 gig for $32.99, 128 gig for $59.99. APC 600 VA battery backup unit for $44.99. That's $30 off the regular price. Roku stick for $49. Apple TV $84. That's $15 off the regular price. All their printers are on sale. Staples just seems like everything is on sale and has significant price cuts. Brother MFC L2700DW. This is their entry-level wireless laser printer all-in-one with duplex for $99. Neat desk scanner. This is what's the other one? That's Fujitsu, I think, is the other scanner that people like for desktop. A lot of law firms use it, but Neat is one of the more popular ones. $369, that's $30 off the regular price. HP Desktop 2540 printer scanner copier. I actually looked at this when I was in Fairbanks to get a printer. I wound up buying one at a thrift shop, but $59.99, and it's got duplex printing. How they do it for that cheap? It's $20 off the regular price. And they have that new product I mentioned earlier, the Amazon Local credit card device for $99. And that's all at Staples. At Office Depot Office Max. HP 17.3-inch AMD A8 laptop for $429.99, save $200. Or HP 15.6-inch A10 touchscreen, $529.99, save $180. Logitech MK550 wireless wave keyboard and mouse, $59.99, save $20. Motorola SB6121 cable modem, $69.99. Western Digital MyBook USB 3.0 hard drive 3 terabytes for $129.99, 4 terabytes for $169.99. The same version of that drive, but now called the My Cloud, which allows you to use remote access software to access this outside of the home. 3 terabytes for $179, 4 terabytes for $219. They've got a Samsung 23.5-inch LED monitor for $149.99, save $80. They have PNY USB 3.0 flash drives. So these are not normally it's USB 2.0, but 3.0 flash drives. 128 gig drive for $69.99, save $25. 64 gig for $39.99, save $35. 32 gig for $19.99, save $25, and 16 gig for $12.99, save $11. They've got a Canon Pixma printer, copier, scanner, wireless printer with duplex for $49.99. That's $30 off. That's probably the cheapest laser printer out there today.
Yeah.
That's a really good price. It's a good printer. Brother Laser Fax. This is a dedicated fax machine. I think it will do copying also, but it would be a convenience copier. But Brother Laser Fax Machine, $99.99, save $100. And that is at Office Depot Office Max. And that's the Max.
That's it?
That be it.
That's more than last week.
Yeah. Oh, that's and I filter through this stuff. I mean, I try to look for stuff that looks like either an outstanding buy or something that's a little more unusual. But
all right.
You're basically just changing the dollar sign from the pound sign for the costs, which is rather unfortunate.
It's roughly the same. Roughly the same.
Well, thank you, Spence.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Spence.
Now, I know there are probably quite a few people around here that are using the Windows 10 beta. A really bad piece of news from that is one of the more interesting bits of data the company is collecting is text entered. Some are calling this a keylogger within the Windows 10 technical preview, which isn't good news. Taking a closer look at the privacy policy for the Windows Insider program, it looks like Microsoft may be collecting a lot more feedback from you behind the scenes. Microsoft collects information about you, your devices, applications and networks, and your use of those devices, applications, and networks. Examples of data we collected, and this is from WinBeta, that's the company that's doing it. Example of data that we collected include your name, email address, preferences and interests, browsing, search and file history, phone call and SMS data, device configuration and sensor data, and application usage. This isn't the only thing Microsoft is collecting from Insider program participants. According to the privacy policy, the company is collecting things like text inputted into the operating system, the details of any and all files on your system, voice input, and program information. So they're telling you that they're doing it, but it's actually a keylogger. I don't know that I would want to be a beta and let them see what. What do you think, Mike?
What do I think about what?
About Microsoft collecting data when you're using.
Well, who's not collecting data? I mean, this is. It's like I say before. There was a battle. We lost.
Well,
what are you going to do? Stop using Microsoft products?
Yeah, that's what we should do. We should stop using it. Oh, wait. Can't do that.
All right. So, in connection with that, let's assume you say that the answer is yes. It's been more than 20 years since Linus Torvald released his Linux kernel under the GNU General Public License, and today, total market share for Linux still hasn't managed to break the 2% barrier as desktop, currently sitting at a measly 1.64%. Even if we look at the time frame, more popular desktop distros such as Ubuntu and Mint, that still equates to a decade with negligible impact on the consumer market. One of the main impediments to Linux's adoption is lack of support from major hardware manufacturers in terms of both pre-installations on new machines as well as driver support for peripherals. The underlying issue, however, is the sheer numbers of distros involved. Well-known Linux site DistroWatch currently lists a total of 780 Linux flavors, and this extreme fragmentation presents enormous difficulties for manufacturers. So Linux is not a real option. So what does that leave? Mac? I mean, gosh, you might as well stick with Windows. They're about the same. So what are you going to do? I mean, there's a certain segment of the population that's starting to unplug, at least at certain ages, and I'm not in that category yet, but I certainly can understand it. I am unplugging from certain things.
Well,
I mean, even if you look at, I don't know, there's just no privacy on the internet. If you're an internet junkie like a lot of us are, there is no privacy.
Should there be, though?
If you want to maintain your privacy, stay off the internet. And that still won't help. I mean, the government still knows everything about it, and government employees have access to all your information, your tax returns, your medical records. I don't know what the battle is. Even with Google, because of the kind of information that Google is able to collect based just on its search engine alone, they can predict where medical outbreaks are getting ready to occur. They statistically can use searches that are entered into Google based on IP address. They can localize certain issues in certain areas. The government has access to 100% of whatever Google has. They work arm in arm. So what is there? Like you say, I'm not nothing to hide. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. If you got nothing to hide, you don't need to worry about it. But
I was saying that sarcastically.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, there is something you can do about it, but I don't know that it's worth the trouble. Again, let's suppose that after the show today, I get rid of all my computers and refuse to go on the internet, get rid of all the social media, go in and delete all the tweets I've done.
Yeah.
It's still going to be out there. Even after you delete tweets, they're still on a server somewhere.
But that sometimes that's a good thing. I'm saying that from the experience of seeing like Lois Lerner and all these yahoos try to say, oh, that evidence doesn't exist anymore, and the morons at these federal agencies actually saying things that they think are true, but we know are not true.
No.
It's just pretty ironic.
I don't know how many of you have seen the new Skype. But Skype has been quickly iterating its applications for Mac, Windows, and mobile, and today it announced Skype 7 for OS X and a preview version for Windows. The new version of Skype for the desktop resembles the mobile version of the app with a stronger focus on text chat and improved inline photo support. The Microsoft division also notes that it has improved the spacing in chats and contacts in the Windows version of the app. And let me tell you something. If this is the version that, Mike, if you remember, Andrew told us where to go and get the newer one. If this is it, it sucks.
I haven't seen it.
It is hard to read the chat. It's like sort of like gray text on blue, light blue background.
Let me back up.
Yeah.
When you say the new one, what version?
It's 7. I mean, we downloaded. It was 6 point something.
20.64.
I don't remember. And then I couldn't stand it. And he said, "Oh, here, the newer one is better." And they went back to, you got a newer one, and it was like the old one. But the one that in between, and the one that looks like online, that looks like that, there's way too much white space. Way too much white space. For what? I mean, do I really need to scroll back to see more than 5 or 6 chat messages? Why can't I just stay on this and take a look? Instead of being able to stretch your window, your contacts on the screen and see them one underneath the other, now you maybe, I think, something like 15 of them all at one time, because there's a lot of space between them. Even if you do away with the pictures, with the icon, I don't know. You want to do it for a mobile, and it has a lot of space for the phone. Do something different for the computer. But it's ridiculous to have so much white space in there when where you really don't need it. It makes it's impractical. It's harder to you constantly have to use the mouse.
You know, Amnon, it's almost like they really don't care what you want, isn't it?
I know they don't care. It's not like it's almost like they don't care what I want.
Almost
Well,
like
that's
they
okay.
didn't learn from anything with Windows 8.
Well, that's a good question, Steve. Have you seen the new preview?
I haven't done, but from what Amnon describes, it sounds very much like it's touch orientated, which is ridiculous. Didn't they, make enough mistakes with Windows 8 and then learn from that? Doesn't appear to be so.
Didn't they fire a bunch of people over it?
They must have kept on the wrong one then.
Well, I mean, they are putting there something that is, they said that they have a version for OS X, a version for mobile, and a version for Windows. Well, make the one for Windows not look like the application itself. Make it more efficient.
Well, maybe if you like your operating system, you can keep your operating system.
Yeah, right. That's
Microsoft does not even have a smidgen of corruption.
What? Doesn't have a smidgen of what?
Corruption.
No.
Or scandal. Until the CEO stepped in it this past week because he made some comment about women's salaries that was taken the wrong way. He actually, if you look at what he was saying, it was actually not so bad, but it was the audience he said it in front of didn't go over well.
What did he say?
It was about how you shouldn't go in and demand, or he's talking specifically to women. He said, let your accomplishments speak for themselves, because the money will come then. Don't go in demanding raises. But it came off as though he was telling specifically women, this is what you should do, when it really was meant as a comment for everybody. But it came off like he was just telling women that. And he had to apologize and say, that's not really what I meant. And I listened to the audio, and you could tell it wasn't really what he meant. But of course, if somebody's going to take something that you say the wrong way, there will be plenty of people to fill that role. Unless you're Joe Biden, in which the things he say can't be taken any way but the worst way. So,
Guess what? We heard about PayPal breaking into two, as in PayPal and eBay are
Yes.
going to be two different companies. Well, it seems like same thing is going to happen with HP. Bless you. Same thing is going to happen with HP, and the same thing is going to happen with Symantec.
Who cares?
I mean, it's just interesting that they do it. And what? Symantec announced plans on Thursday to split into two separate publicly traded companies. One focused on security, the other focused on information management. The security business generated $4.2 billion in revenue in fiscal year 2014. $4.2 billion. Who is using Norton antivirus and Norton whatever?
Every Dell or HP computer comes with it pre-installed, and people renew it. My grandmother renewed Norton.
Yeah, and one of the bad news
Some
about
people have
this
no
is...
sense.
Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
Some people have no sense.
It's not that they have no sense; they don't know.
Yeah,
Comes
Well,
up-
yeah, I suppose it's
pre-installed.
uninformed.
I give them my opinion, but you know,
Give.
it comes. It's a sense of security. It comes pre-installed with the computer. It works right out of the box.
yeah, they don't
the
need to
sad
worry
part
about it.
it is that it's on there, and they just forget that it's on, that they ever have to do anything with it, and it just expires, and they're not covered. So
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
interesting.
The other thing that is really bad that I read is, turns out that Microsoft Security Essentials is not as good as would like it to be. It didn't score high on, I think it was PC World or some other, I don't remember which. It's came out third or something like that. And that's not the first time that they're saying that, by the way. So a lot of splits there. Splits.
They give a reasoning for it.
A what? EBay said that it's because they're afraid that the company is getting too big, and if they want to sell PayPal, it's going to be a monster, so it's easier to go into two separate companies and have each one show how much money they're generating, and in this way it's not going to be cost prohibitive, let's put it this way. Somebody may want to buy a company like PayPal for the money, but they don't want to get eBay. I thought I had a story about HP, but I guess I don't. Oh, yeah. Hewlett-Packard is planning to split itself into two separate businesses, the Wall Street Journal is reporting. Sources tell the paper that HP will split its personal computer and printer segments from its corporate hardware and services business. The announcement could come as early as Monday. The sources said the company reorganized itself in 2012 under CEO Meg Whitman. The move combined its computer and printer businesses. The PC and computer segment is massive for HP. For the first 6 months this year, it reported $27.8 billion in revenue. That's about 3 times the size of HP's next biggest unit, the Enterprise Group, which makes servers, storage, and network hardware. Under the new split, Whitman would be chairman of the computer and printer businesses and CEO of separate Enterprise Group, according to just some
My
more.
opinion is too late.
Too late for what?
They could have had a chance to do this a couple years ago, and try to revive the business when Meg Whitman took over. But it took them 2 years to realize that all that effort didn't work, and now they've got to break it up as the only way to try to create at least one viable business that's making a profit out of this instead of hemorrhaging money.
I don't know. It seems like it's pretty good. I mean, when you think about 27.8 billion.
Yeah, but that doesn't. When you got to look at the bottom line, you got to look at, was the company growing or losing market share? They were not. The purpose of bringing in somebody like Meg Whitman, high profile like that, is to turn the company around, start to increase your market share, start to raise your profitability numbers by cutting costs and cutting costs. I mean, you can do both, but it's just that they've been wallowing out there for a couple of years trying to do that, not getting any headway. People have been complaining that they need to do this, and finally they do it. Yes, the stock price went up, but it's just some of these big bloated companies, they will sacrifice the profits of one division to prop up another division. They need to stand alone. The PC division now has lost 2 years over with Dell and Lenovo. And Lenovo took the crown now. They took it away from HP because they lost sight of what they were supposed to do.
Well,
so it's a typical corporate thing.
Hey, Andrew, good morning. Tom, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Sunday morning.
Oh, we'll play it.
Well, with that, I'll take this opportunity to say so long because I need to.
Oh, good Sunday morning.
Yeah.
All right, Spence. Go have fun.
That chroma key's still very in key.
A what?
Said his chroma key still stayed in key that whole time.
Didn't you hear what he was saying? He changed computers. I mean,
yeah, but that computer has nothing to do with it.
No, this is just
the camera somehow keying through the magnifying glass.
Yep.
Surprisingly well.
Yeah, we did a good job. It was just kind of weird there, but
it was. But I mean, you got a little blue highlight on around your body, but that key is solid.
Yeah.
Did you change the background?
Nope.
Is it stretched better? Is it more light?
No, I tuned everything this morning. I went in and I went to each separate scene and I adjusted the color and played with the chroma and make sure everything looked correct. So plus just because of the faster processor and I'm not maxing out the CPU, I got better video quality and just responsiveness overall. So
yeah.
But I'm not ready to build an i7 yet.
All right, Spence.
Okay. Well, everybody have a good week.
See ya.
I'll see you in a couple hours, Amnon.
And let me know if you want to do something on those cameras.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think I'm going to talk to my future son-in-law today at the shower. It's a men and women invited shower, so I'm going to discuss this whole GoPro concept, and if it's a go, I definitely want to take advantage of whatever I can learn.
Be better off using this GF whatever it is, HF G30 that I have to get some other video because I don't know how to use it. I haven't spent much time on it, and you could help me make sure I get it right for my wedding.
Sure. No, that'd be fun. I need to play around with the latest stuff. I don't.
Yeah,
have
let me know.
It's up to date. Thanks, Mike. All right.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Spence.
Bye for now.
We wouldn't do this week.
Take care.
Let's see what else.
Got a question for Nick.
What's up?
Yeah. How'd you get that lower third thing again? I know you described how to do it to somebody else a couple of weeks ago, but I wasn't listening.
So if you mouse over the Hangout and you go to the left-hand side, there is Hangout Toolbox, which is the red icon with the Google Plus Hangout icon and the ratchet in it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you click on that, it'll ask you to accept or apply something. And then once it loads, there's an icon that's a silhouette with looks like a halo around it. And type in your information on that. Click the on button, and it should work, but it might not. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
You're
that would.
just far too smart for your own good.
Mine doesn't work, of course.
Yours. Oh, you had to use some XSplit in order
Use a
to get
different
it.
browser for whatever it doesn't work.
Yeah. Talking about browsers, recently a vulnerability was found in the default Android browser that would allow an attacker to steal data that you have entered while browsing the web on your Android device. The vulnerability affects the default Android browser and derivative version like the Samsung browser on Android version 4.3 and older. Since you have the default Android browser or one of its variants like the default Samsung browser installed and are running a vulnerability version of Android, here are some tips to stay safe. First one, use the Chrome or Firefox browser. These browsers are not affected by the vulnerability, no matter what version of Android you're using. You should also set the Chrome or Firefox browser to be your default for opening links, so you don't have to worry about any of your apps opening links in a vulnerable browser. And the second tip is if you're running Android 4.3 or older, you can potentially upgrade your Android version by going into your settings, tapping About, Phone, and then System Updates. Note that not all devices will have an update available. Do you know, I read this, when was it? Probably on Wednesday. And I've been trying to update my phone. No way to do it. It keeps coming back no matter what time of day. I mean, I've got the phone sitting there on the desk and I keep hitting it and it says, it is not available. The service is not available right now. Try again.
What is?
The system update, what they call it? Yeah, system.
You probably can't do it on your phone.
Well, why doesn't it say you can't do it? Why does it say it's not available? Try again.
It's not available. That's exactly what it's telling you. It's not available.
No, it says not available right now.
Okay.
Try again. That means...
Okay, and you try again and it gives you the same error. It's
yeah.
Not, it doesn't work. You're not probably not available for the upgrade. Yeah, Emlyn, your phone's like 6 years old.
Maybe.
I would not. I wouldn't update it. It's going to slow it down.
I mean, I'm using Firefox anyway. But it's
Still,
just,
I wouldn't.
just
I wouldn't worry
interesting.
about updating a phone that old. It'll make your life hell.
Well,
because it'll slow it down to a point where it'll probably be totally unusable.
what is Tom saying there? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this Wednesday we're going to have a VidBlaster roundtable, and Tom asked me to appear.
Boy, that's risky.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, it's fine. It's my old device. Andrew, why aren't you coming into the hangout? And I
Now,
don't want to
Tom,
hear
why
you.
do you say it would be risky to invite me? I play with VidBlaster so that I can understand things that we talk about, but I am in no way a VidBlaster expert. Like Nick is.
Stop.
No, I am not a video guy.
But he is the audio guy.
I am the audio guy.
Yep.
I don't believe you.
Premier Radio Network.
It's not Premier Radio Networks anymore.
What is it?
I'm not sure, but they changed their name.
Don't know.
It's just, I think it's just like Premier. It's just Premier Networks now, not Premier Radio Networks. They've
Oh.
changed. It formerly was Premier Radio Networks. Now it's just Premier Network.
You can tell I don't listen to it.
Let's see what else. Wow, this is really amazing when we think about Samsung. You know, according to recently unsealed court filings, Samsung Electronics paid Microsoft more than $1 billion in annual fees to use patented Microsoft technology in Samsung's Android phones. Microsoft and Android. The patent treasures include methods for displaying multiple windows in a web browser. Samsung, Steve.
think he's having a
Samsung
connection
originally. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I think he's having a connection issue.
Samsung originally signed its patent deal with Microsoft in 2011 ahead of its impressive dominance of Android shipments. But late last year, Samsung decided it was tired of paying on time or paying interest when late payment was finally made. Microsoft has taken Samsung to court over the issue, and the Korean company insists it wants to walk away from the original deal because of Microsoft's purchase of Nokia's phone business. Samsung claims the acquisition invalidates the cross-licensing IP agreement, but Microsoft doesn't agree and wants the company to pay $6.9 million in unpaid interest from last year. Every time they turn around, they get sued. But that's what happened when you don't pay, right? You have to pay to play? Is that how it goes?
I guess so.
All right. I've got one more. I'm going to keep it for now. So let's hear what
Gonna
you
keep
guys
this
have
in
to say.
suspense, sorry, yeah.
What happened?
Oh, Google decided it didn't want to.
Were you not able to set up your lower third, Steve?
Doesn't look like it, no.
Hmm.
Never mind. It's not important.
No, what you could do is you can have a. Oh no, I don't know that you can. Nick, is this an icon? I mean, a picture that you upload to Google Plus?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. It's going to be a pain. No, I know what you're saying, Emma, but they crop it weird and everything, and it'll look very odd.
All right.
The reason his lower third's not working is because he doesn't have a camera on, I think. Which makes sense.
Oh
Just think yourself lucky.
no, you're lucky. You're more.
Yeah, I'm lucky that there's nobody in the room screaming at my horrible, ugly face. That's right.
Did you know you look like a dog?
Roof.
Mike, that was very rude.
Just trying to help.
Yeah, but a really cute dog.
Yes. Isn't that Bert?
That was Bert, yeah.
Yep.
Bless his cotton socks.
Yep.
So what else is going on?
What else
with
is
idiots.
going on? A guy in a solo law practice. I'm not sure where he's located, but he says that he just opened yesterday's mail to find a cancellation notice from Aetna Insurance Company. They're offering him a new plan with a higher deductible at more than twice the premium. I have no health issues and rarely go to the doctor. And what's so bizarre is he probably voted for this nonsense.
Well, I'm on Medicare,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow they decided to cancel the plan for Wake County and some other counties. I mean, maybe about 10 counties across the state because of Obamacare. And the next plan that is comparable, it's a little bit better, is about 3 times more. It's not like you have a choice. So it's happening with I mean that's for the what do you call it, the supplement,
Medicare supplement.
yeah, part D, and it's not that much money. I mean, it was something like $18, so now it's $63 as of January 1st. And the insurance woman that I'm talking with that's handling all this, she's saying, but next year it may be back. Go figure out why they cancel it in just like one county or 2 counties or 3 counties and not all across the state. I'm sure they have their own reasons, but it is kind of it's a pisser. But
$18 a month for any insurance is a joke.
well, remember I'm talking about that this is for the supplement.
Right. But why would anybody want to insure you for $1,800 a month when you probably got $50 to $100 a month worth of expenses?
True.
We need free government health care like Steve has.
Yes, Steve, send us some of yours.
Yeah, you want to set it off like our government's doing, do you?
Well, you guys, we're often we hear over here, Steve, that you guys have the perfect system. We need to emulate what you're doing because you guys have free health care. You don't have any worries at all when it comes to getting treatment for any sort of sickness or disease.
It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes the drugs are too expensive, so they refuse to provide them.
Ooh, that's called rationing?
That's called, well, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called inhumane.
Well,
But
it's
20 years ago, maybe the National Health Service was an icon for the world to look at and go, wow, we want that. It isn't anymore. Far too much of it has been privatized and farmed out to secondary parties. It's not actually run as an entity as it was anymore.
So, Alan, you're saying same here in Canada. Is it healthcare utopia in Canada just like it is in the UK? We're thinking about moving to Toronto because we want to get free healthcare.
yeah, Mike. Don't speed it up. But we're going to end up the same as Canada and the UK, with all the problems.
I understand.
Yeah.
Except for there are two differences. There's one major difference between us and Canada and the UK.
Yeah.
We're dramatically more populated than they are, and their system doesn't scale. And for people who don't understand what scale means, if you go to the store and buy a box of cereal and feed your 2 kids Sugar Pops for breakfast, that works fine. But if you take that same box and take it down to the homeless shelter with 500 people, it doesn't go very far.
Right. Yep.
Gene says over my dead body. I'm not sure what he's replying to, but that's probably the way it's going to work, Gene. I think you're in tune. Like Obama said, if we can't provide you with morphine, you just take Advil. It'll save your government money so that he can go play golf.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you never did answer my question. Or if you did, I missed it.
Joe, why don't you call in?
You did. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Joe Taylor is a podcaster. He and I got to know each other over at Dave Jackson's Ask the Podcast Coach on Saturday mornings. And when I get acquainted with people, I try to go spend a little time listening, seeing what they're doing. So I went in the past week or so, 2 weeks, I don't know when it was, and listened to a bunch of Joe's stuff. And he does a good job. But what's impressive is that we have a different outlook in terms of who we would have for guests, but in terms of what he's trying to achieve with the guests he's seeking, he has some pretty good guests on there that I imagine are pretty difficult to book. You got to know the trick to get the really good guests on there. It sounds like he's found out the way to do it, because what's happening is a lot of, I mean, good grief, even I am appearing on many fewer shows now, because it's just me saying the same thing over and over and over again, repeating myself. So it's already been said 50 times. Just go listen to one of the ones I've done. So you can imagine what kind of a burden it's turning into for real guests who've written books, who've had certain life experiences, whatever. They're getting asked over and over and over again by the thousands of podcasters out there who've paid a consultant a lot of money and want to get rich podcasting, so they're out all interviewing each other now. And to be able to get one of these guys on your podcast, that if you're one of the 99% who has no audience, it's hard to get a guest, because why should they waste their time for 50 downloads? But Joe is really working his. I don't know what his downloads are, but he seems to be serving a niche audience. He's getting the right guests, and it's good to listen.
My podcast is doing very well as well.
Yeah. What was the name of it?
I don't even remember anymore.
On the Storm?
Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot.
Eye of the Storm.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, Dr. John. Now I can get pregnant.
That was 10 minutes ago, Amnon.
I know. I'm just going through.
Slow morning.
Yes, it is.
So it looks like it'll be one of those days, Amnon. Oh, well, here's something that's curious. A female nurse at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas has tested positive for Ebola after a preliminary test.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Confirmatory testing will be conducted today by the CDC in Atlanta. The test's results are expected to be announced later today. The nurse helped care for Thomas Eric Duncan. Eric, that's the problem. The first person ever diagnosed with Ebola in the United States. Duncan died Wednesday. The nurse is in stable condition. The nurse was involved in Duncan's second visit to the hospital when he was admitted for treatment and was wearing protective gear as prescribed by the CDC: gown, gloves, mask, and shield. A close contact of the nurse has been proactively placed in isolation, he added. We knew a second case could be a reality, and we've been preparing for this possibility, Dr. David Lakey, Commissioner of the Texas Department of State Health Services, said in a statement Sunday morning. We are broadening our team in Dallas and working with extreme diligence to prevent further spread. The nurse reported a low-grade fever Friday night and was isolated, the health department said. The preliminary test result came in late Saturday. If confirmed by the CDC, the nurse's case would mark the first known transmission of Ebola in the United States and the second ever diagnosis in the country. David Sanders, the Associate Professor of Biological Sciences at Purdue, said he thinks the CDC testing will probably support the preliminary results. It sounds like it's positive, and it's going to stay positive. The news that a healthcare worker might have the disease is not completely unexpected, an infectious disease specialist told CNN's New Day. Ebola is not very contagious. Ebola is actually very difficult to catch. People are at risk if they come into very close contact with the blood, saliva, sweat, feces, semen, vomit, or soiled clothing of an Ebola patient, or if they travel to affected areas in West Africa. Those stricken with Ebola suffer ghastly symptoms, including vomiting, diarrhea, muscle pain, fever, and unexplained bleeding. 3 countries, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia, have been the hardest hit. Many of those who care for the ill have also come down with the disease. The World Health Organization estimates that at least 416 healthcare workers have contracted Ebola and at least 233 have died. I don't know what, it used to say it was a 95% mortality rate. I don't know what the timing is on these numbers that I just read, but hopefully that indicates that they have a higher than a 5% survivability rate. In Liberia, healthcare workers are threatening to strike if their work conditions don't improve. The first infection outside of Africa happened in a nurse's aide in Spain. She became sick after she helped treat an Ebola-stricken Spanish missionary. Her case has prompted questions from fellow medical professions about whether they are properly equipped to safely treat Ebola patients. And there's a whole lot more here. Now, what's interesting, and I don't understand this, is health screenings to help prevent the spread of Ebola began Saturday for some travelers to New York's JFK International Airport.
Right.
An official with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned that nothing can get the risk to zero. 4 other airports will add the screenings Thursday, according to the CDC. This won't be a mass event with long lines of travelers waiting for screening. Only about 150 travelers a day will receive the screenings, of CDC officials said.
You know what worries me?
Tell me.
I think we're going to see a new breed of suicide bombers.
That's called dirty bombing.
Yep.
The 5 airports, including JFK, received 94% of air travelers who come from the afflicted countries.
They were talking, I was watching an Israeli program about this, and they were talking with an Israeli doctor that was there, and he had an interesting take on it. He's saying in many of these countries, when somebody dies, they bury him right outside the tent, the whatever you want to, whatever you're living in. It's right. He said you can just walk outside the door, and there on the ground there is a tomb, a burial spot where they bury the person that died, and they don't know what he died from, and it very well may be Ebola, but this is their tradition. That's how they do it. And he says, and now they are blaming the Western world for this outbreak, because they say that when we come in here with all this protective gear and we wrap these bodies in plastic and seal them and take them away, that we are making the gods angry, and that's why they're doing this. And they're really believing in it. So they take the bodies and they go and they bury them. They don't report them all. They bury them somewhere else. Because they want to keep tradition. So they come into contact and everything, and it's you can't tell these people, if you see that somebody is displaying symptoms such and such and such, stay away from them. No. So other than actually closing these countries, And at this point, even that's not going to do because they're outside in other parts of the world. You got something to worry about, Nick?
No, I don't. The government will protect me.
Oh, yeah.
Obama!
Yep. That's right. And Swedish internet services run both cheaper and faster than American ones. For example, many Swedes can pay about $40 a month for 100 by 100, choosing between more than a dozen competing providers. It's all powered by a nationwide web of municipal networks in direct competition with ex-government telecom Telia fiber backbone. The presence of regional government in the Swedish data stream makes many Americans uncomfortable, to say nothing of the very different histories between these backbone build-outs. The Motley Fool explains how the Swedish model developed and why the U.S. is unlikely ever to follow suit. In other words, and nothing wrong with municipal providers or municipal backers, or call it whatever, what Time Warner actually killed over here. And these in Sweden, you get great service. Comments?
They have done for years as well. I think it's 2003, 2004. When I used to run my website, there was somebody from Sweden there, 100 up, 100 down, and it was just standard in each home.
Yeah.
And that's, 10 years ago. Sickening, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess we always wait for the government to do something.
You need competition in order to drive the price down. That's the thing.
Yes, you do. Absolutely do. Do.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Sayreville High School football hazing.
Don't
You
know.
play football, Nick? I guess not. Oh, Nick is not there. Okay. So,
What is that about?
I'm going to tell you in just a second. The article's poorly written. I'm trying to skip the junk.
Okay.
The morning after 7 Sayreville High School football players were charged in a sexual hazing scandal, several residents said they were shocked and called the allegations embarrassing for the borough. Being from the old school, there was hazing stuff that happened all the time, snapping the towel, stupid things like that, said Kevin Seraphin, 58, from Sayreville. But if these players were taken into custody, it had to have gone too far. That's just not being kids. According to the Middlesex Prosecutor's Office, 3 of the players were charged with aggravated sexual assault, aggravated criminal sexual contact, conspiracy to commit aggravated criminal sexual contact, criminal restraint, and hazing for engaging in an act of sexual penetration upon one of the juvenile victims. One of those defendants and 4 others were charged with various counts, including aggravated assault, conspiracy, aggravated criminal sexual contact, hazing, and riot by participating in the attack of some of the victims. 1 or more of the players are accused of holding victims against their will, while others improperly touched victims in a sexual manner. The events occurred during 4 separate incidents at the schools between September 19th and 29th. This morning, John, 40, who declined to give his last name because he has ties to the high school team, echoed the comments. Quote, "I went to Sayreville High School and was on the football team. There was never anything like this." And anyway, what this article, I'm not going to very spell out what they did, but let's just say the recruits were required to I don't know how to say this.
Perform sexual stuff?
No, it's worse than that. They had to put their fingers in their mouths after it had been placed in another place that
Oh,
you would never
jeez.
be able to put it.
And where is this?
Saryville, New Jersey, I
New
think.
Jersey?
And so some of the parents found out about it and they pursued it. And as I would have, and I would pursue criminal charges against any of those kids who put them under that sort of thing. And you can call me a helicopter parent all you want.
Yeah. Sick.
Andrew said there's nothing wrong with it. He does it all the time.
I don't think he knew where the fingers were put.
I think he does. I think he does. He sent me a message. He said, "What's the problem?"
Oh. Oh, Andrew.
Well, I would suggest that rather than stretching out the pain, Amnon, let's just call it one of our first 2-hour shows.
I would love to do that.
All right. Well, then that's what we're going to do. We have no callers. Nobody wants to know anything. Everybody has all their questions answered. Life is good. We've covered all the problems in the world. We've solved the Ebola crisis.
Chat's pretty dead this morning as well.
Yeah. So, well, let's wrap her up.
All right. Okay. Guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Steve, it worked out. Now, Nick, did you add him permanently to the group?
Yeah.
Good.
Unless I remove him.
Good.
Okay, well, maybe one day I'll get a camera sorted out and scare everybody to death.
No, don't
Halloween's
worry.
coming up.
Don't worry about it. I want you to feel comfortable. We all want you to feel comfortable, so don't worry about it.
Okay,
Whatever suits you tickles us.
Absolutely.
splendid. Well, thanks for a good show. I enjoyed it, as always.
Yes, it was. Nick, thanks.
Oh, anytime, man.
Mike. Steve. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in tomorrow morning at 11 for the Health In Show. Going to be talking about autism. And 1 o'clock, it is the Breaking Free Show. Actually, tonight, I keep forgetting, tonight is the Tanya Love Show at 8 o'clock. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.